Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 4. This topic today is video games, and this is a topic I could honestly make an entire channel just on this topic. I've been playing video games since I was a kid, and it's getting better. You know, the games are getting better, the variety, the amount. The problem is the current state is the pricing of both consoles and games themselves. Now we're going to start with Summer Game Fest because that is the most recent thing that's happened and has brought about was revealed is many games new just came out or even additions to games, and ones we've known about and ones that we weren't expecting but we were hoping. So first they're going to have a new DLC for Doom the Dark Ages, which I haven't played yet, but it is one of the games that I want to play. It is on the list of games I want. The problem is that it's $70 right now just for the base game. We'll get into that more later, but yeah, so. Then it's Sinking City 2. I played the first one. It's a Cthulhu mystery game where you're trying to solve a mystery in a small town, I think in Maine. And I was happy they're making a second one. Very curious how they're going to make what the sequel is going to be about. Then, of course, there's Star Wars Zero Company. I'm a Star Wars nerd, as you can see on my poster on the wall. So, of course, I'm going to be like, I want that. I want to see it. I want to play around with it. Control Resonant, I added when I heard about it coming out, and I definitely want to get it after playing Control, the first one. I'm very curious how they're going to explain the main character Dylan's evolution from the first game to the second game. Then, of course, there's Silent Hill Townfall. I've never played any of the Silent Hill games, but they have been on my radar, and if I can get access to them, I'll definitely play them. Then there's a new game coming out called Valor Mortis. Issue is with that game and a bunch of the other games that are coming out in September is everybody is trying to avoid GTA 6. And what worries me is not only all the games that are coming out before then, but even GTA 6, is that GTA 6 has been talked about and discussed for a long time. And so I don't think it's going to be as good as everyone thinks it's going to be, as everybody's hoping it's going to be, because they're setting it up to be the greatest game in the history of video games. And I think that's totally unfair for it to come out. Plus, again, with the pricing, it's going to be super expensive when it first comes out, just for the base game. Then we have another Star Wars game coming in October, Star Wars Galactic Racer. Then there's a new Castlevania coming out called Belmont's Curse. That, to me, is interesting. Later this year, there's going to be a new Age of Empires 4 expansion. Lords of the Fallen 2 is going to be out later this year. And one that I'm interested in, but I don't own a Switch 2, so I'm not going to play it, is the remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I played it on GameCube, and I loved it, and I can't wait for it. There's also a game called Penguin Colony coming out, which I'm obsessed with penguins, so I have to throw that in the mix of games I would want. There's a new Tomb Raider coming next year, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. That's going to be very interesting. There's a new Metro game coming next February. Very curious how that's going to be, because they technically ended the trilogy. So I think it's going to have, and it is a new character. So I wonder how they're going to do that. Next year is going to also be a new Spyro, which that I'm really excited about. I love Spyro. Even the one that was on the GameCube that a lot of people panned, a lot of people hated, I enjoyed it. I played all the Spyro games. I played the ones on the Game Boy. I love it. Clockwork Revolution is another new game coming out next year. There's a new Monster Hunter Wilds DLC. Monster Hunter Wilds is a game on my wish list. And then the last one is what was rumored for a while, but finally got shown, at least the trailer for it, Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, just titled Resident Evil Veronica. That's going to be very interesting because right now you can't play that game. Resident Evil Veronica is not, unless you have the original version, you can't play it. It is not available to play anywhere. And so that's going to be very interesting to see how well it sells. It's going to be available on almost every console. So I think a lot of people are going to want to get it. But it's going to depend on this next thing, which is the major point of this video. And that is the modern day gaming market. Right now, anytime a new game comes out, you are looking at a minimum day one $70 price tag. And it will not be a physical release of the game. It is a digital only copy. And that's just the base game. If you want DLC, if you want updates, day one, it's not going to be... Most games nowadays are launching in buggy or extremely buggy states. We all remember the Cyberpunk 2077 fiasco, where PlayStation Store took it off the store until they fixed the bugs that were there. So you're paying $70 for a game when it comes out, and it's guaranteed to have issues, or not be fully fleshed out, or be live service, and then it won't have everything right away. And then you have premium editions and super deluxe editions and gold bar editions and what other names that they have out there that will come with, maybe some digital stuff, maybe some early access, which is ludicrous because launching 3 days early, it's not going to be any better state than it is on day one. So, and then the fact is, these Ultimate Editions are like $100, $130, $140, and you're not getting anything of true value there. And another example is Fallout 76. They promised these really nice backpacks. What people actually got was junk backpacks that were like plastic. Not even like nice plastic, like the plastic you would give on cheap raincoats. So these premium editions and modern day pricing, and Nintendo especially, is $80 for their base games on day one. And it's not physical edition. So you're paying $80 for the game. And then the actual pricing, like consoles nowadays are, I think a new Switch 2 is $450, a new Xbox Series X is $460, a new PlayStation is almost $700 to $900. You literally are going to have to basically make a car payment or more to buy a video game system, and that's just the system. Then you have to worry about, like I said, the base game itself, DLC, anything extra. And then if it's live service, there's microtransactions, there's events that you have to worry about paying for. And almost 60%, a study came out that I saw that basically said that over 62% of gamers do not buy games on day one. They do not buy games on day one. They wait to buy them until they're on sale and until they're fully patched and in a state of play that's actually worth the $30, $40, $50 price tag that you're getting. And then, so what I end up doing is what, like I said, is what a lot of gamers are doing, which is basically not buying games on day one. Not pre-ordering, not buying games day one, and waiting until they're polished, until they're on sale, until they include everything, or they're part of a bundle. Hell, I saw that Dawn of War 4, that's not even coming out until September or November? I think it's September of this year. It's already on discount. Already on discount. And so, why should we pay $70 for a game, $80 for a game that we don't know is going to come out day one perfect? They're going to have to patch it. They're going to have features that they're going to eventually remove. I just saw a rumor that the new game it's in the Guild Wars universe, Crimson Desert, they're going to apparently rework the entire story. Which means that you basically played the game till now, and now you're going to get a whole new story that you might have to actually pay money for. And again, like I said, the ultimate editions, the shiny editions that are super expensive, again, are $100, and you're not getting a physical copy of the game. You are literally not being allowed to own the physical copy of the game. Now, there is the movement going on where they basically are trying to get it to where they don't want companies to be forced to not take games off servers. I don't think that's going to do anything. I don't think it's going to solve anything, because they're going to start charging a server fee or a maintenance fee to keep it active. Now, I have enough of a backlog that I'm not going to be anytime soon needing a whole bunch of new games. But there are a ton of games that I want on my wish list that I don't have. That I don't think I'm ever gonna have. Because right now they're not in a price that I can afford. They're not in a price that I can justify. I mean, I can't justify $40 for a game, $50 for a game. One of the games that's on sale right now on Steam is $6, but all the DLC and the extras is an additional $24 separate. You can't buy the bundle. If you buy the Ultimate Edition, it's $80, no sale price. I can't justify $80. I can't say, yeah, I need to spend $80 on a video game. Now, currently in my cart right now, I've got $42 worth of games. And there's 7 games in there. That works out to about $6 a game. Now, none of them, I think only one game is above $6. I think 1 or 2 games are above $6. So, you're asking gamers to spend $500 or more on a system, $50 or more on a controller, $50 or more on a headset, and then on top of that, $70 for a game that might not be finished day one, that you might have to wait for extra content, might wait for story content, might wait for conclusions, if you even get that at all. Because the way modern gaming companies are also running nowadays is that if you do not have a bona fide hit on day one, you're a failure. And some games they put the most ridiculous expectations that no game is going to be able to do it. No game is going to be able to match those numbers, get those numbers, because they're so beyond ridiculous. I think Sunset Overdrive is one of those games, and just so many games have been put out there, and there's like, oh, it's a failure because it didn't reach this number, and it's like, which is why you're also seeing console exclusivity dying, because a lot of companies are realizing that if we don't make our sales numbers in the first week, first month, first 6 months, we could lose our company. We could lose our people. You're already seeing layoffs of like 30, 40,000 people, entire studios getting shut down after the failure of Redfall. Right? I think it was Redfall. Yeah, Redfall. Arcane Studios got shut down. And I think part of the reason Arcane failed, in my opinion, is because I think it was trying to get a push for live service. I'm not going to speculate as to the real reason, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why the game failed. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, that failed because they were trying to make it live service. And it showed. Now, I think there might be a space for live service games. I think that is a possibility in the future. But I think there needs to be in the market, for the market to survive and video games as an industry to survive, is there needs to be single player games, multiplayer games, multiplayer online games like, Fortnite, Overwatch, Call of Duty, all the other ones, and then of course live service games that are strictly live service. The problem is that a lot of companies are trying to go to the live service route because they think that's an infinite source of money and it will always make money. And what so many games in the past year, 2 years have shown is that live service is not going to make you money. Live service is not going to be a guaranteed cash cow. For every live service game that survives, there's at least 20 or 30 or more that get canned because they're not good. Or they come out in such a state that nobody wants to play it, and therefore the project has to get abandoned. And however much money you sank into it is a loss. So that's it for this week's episode of the I Am Not Worthless podcast. We've gone through my topic list. So next week it's going to be a pop culture or real world discussion. Keep an eye on my channel to see what the topic is going to be. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend.